All right, let's do this. Welcome to Bradley J Travel. This is an experiment. I've done it once before, and I'm going to try it again. Last time I did it was about 2 years ago, and I'm going to take you on a trip. It's on my first big trip, and it included some magic moments which respond by lonesomeness. And when you go on trips alone, you get really lonely. I get really lonesome, but when that happens, you're vulnerable, or I should say, you're able to appreciate, to absorb moments more than when you're with someone. When you're with someone, you're chattering and stuff goes on, you miss. It doesn't seep in. But when you're alone, you really absorb it. And so when you're lonesome, you're really lonesome. But when something magic happens, it's really magic. So what I have for you is a slideshow. And there's something in many cases about photos that are better than a video. A photo I can leave up on the screen and I can show you and tell you what's going on there and the feelings it evokes. And you have a chance to have it cause some feelings in you, maybe. This is the story of my first, an early big trip, which started in Hamburg and ended in Switzerland, but went all the way to Budapest and etc. But we're not going to include all that. This is about Berlin and Krakow. And the moment in Krakow, and I have the photo of it, which was has such rich memories. I have done a song about it. I've done the song over 4 times as I learned to do things better song-wise. I do some over. Rather than have a bunch of half-ass songs, I'd rather have a few good ones. This one's called Alchemia, and the reason will become clear. Now I'm going to try to share the screen. As I say, I've only done this one time, so please bear with. Let's see. We go to present, and we go to share screen, and we go to share screen again, and we go to window, and we choose the window and share. I hope that's working. I'll drag and I'll separate the windows here so I can see me as well as you. All right. Now, hopefully you can see, and please make a comment, okay? Let me know if you can see what's up. This is a pretty grim photo, right? I'm so glad to be able to show you this photo because look at that, Bahnhof train station. But I don't know if this is Hauptbahnhof or Ostbahnhof, main train station or east train station. Probably, I'm guessing main. And it kind of looks to me like not much has changed since World War II here. I mean, maybe it has. I mean, maybe that got demolished and rebuilt. I don't know. But I was super tired. I'm a very new traveler, all alone. I hadn't learned to avoid jet lag yet. Can you see I hope you can see the pictures. I'm assuming you can. If you can't, well, then all this is for nothing. But actually, it's recorded, so I'll do it. I'll do it over. I'll learn from my mistakes. This is where I arrived in Berlin. I was so tired and lonesome. And it was only day 2. I'm from New Hampshire in a town of 760 people, so this is a lot for me. I arrived, and some gentleman who was a record guy in New York said, if you ever get to Berlin, call Carola. Just say Bob sent you. Okay. So it just so happens I was in Berlin. I had the number. I said, I'm calling this number because I'm lonesome. And why not? Why not have a connection? Bob W. Good guy. So I call, ringy dingy. Phone answers. It's in German. Uh-oh. It's an answering machine. I see that 3 people are watching. Please let me know that you can see the picture of a beat up looking train station. And I call back later. I had enough coinage. It was tough to figure out the coin. It wasn't the euro at the time. I had to figure out how to use a weird payphone. in a different language and talk to somebody in a different language. So I called again and boom, this one, oh, look at that. Pretty good, right? This is working. This woman, Carola, who is so awesome to this day, uh, answered the phone. I said my story. She said, I'll be right there in 10 minutes. And she was. She pulled up in a cool, weird, a green little car with a friend. She took me back to this apartment. Wait, was it this apartment? I'm not sure. But her apartment, gave me the key and said, here, you stay here. There's beer in the fridge. Here's the key. I'm staying with my friend. It just so happens that she was in the music business and that she wrote for a music magazine and went on to run be involved with a very famous club called Tresor in Berlin. Just the nicest person, most energetic, and she's still in the business. And she introduced me to her friends as Anya, Carola, and a dude, I can't remember his name, but he's a cool guy. And they were into the rock, let me tell you. They would see bands all the time. And she promotes actually musical acts now. And this is just to give you a feel of Berlin. A table made out of a saw blade. What can you say? That's pretty real deal, right? We will get to the moment. Now, I don't know if this is Carola or not. Maybe not. I just don't know. But I tell people the story and they don't believe it. They can't understand it. But right after the wall started to come down when I was there first time, it was only down a little bit. They'd start to cut it and stack it, but mostly it was still up. But there were abandoned buildings right in the east, just over where the wall was. And they would have parties in there. They would go in, and I don't know how they got the power. I see that there are some plugs in the back there, but there was no heat. Actually, I don't know if it looks like a plug, doesn't it? There was no heat and not a lot of light. So they had to rig this up, and everybody was in there with their coats on. Well, she doesn't have a coat on, but the dude does. And they'd have parties, and they were cool parties in abandoned buildings in East Germany that had just been kind of just non-separated. They hadn't officially united yet, I don't think. So that was a good memory. And other places, this is a bar called Fischlabor. I remember it because it had a weird name, and the ceiling was a parachute. Fischlabor. I don't know. I try to get some sort of. I've always tried to get a translation of this Fischlabor. What is it? But I never did. Does it just mean fish working fish, or something else? But this is Berlin in probably 91, maximum 92. Because my first trip anywhere was 90 with Oedipus to Moscow, which gave me the bug. So right away, I went back somewhere. That's Fischlabor. And now this is a restaurant under the train tracks. The trains run along these kind of brick trestles that have businesses underneath, including restaurant. And this is just so very real for me. This is 1990, Berlin, Germany. And it's a different vibe, let me tell you. And it's a smoky ass vibe. Same thing here. Don't remember where this is. Is it the same place? I don't think so. That's what it looks like. That's what the folks look like. They were all nice to me. Okay. These are out of order. Okay. So this is back when they still had the Soviet trains, as you can see, CCCP. So the trip that I'm talking about goes from Berlin to Krakow, 10-hour ride. It's pretty cool because I don't know about you, but trains just make me go into kind of a zone. So 10 hours is nothing. Have a beer, kind of snooze. A couple hours later, have a beer, kind of snooze. And, oh yeah, There's some beer there. I think that's a Polish beer. And the basic supplies, you got some stinky cheese there, some bread, some cheese, some water. Got to have water. And some, they have, over there, they have lots of kind of chocolatey, yogurty puddings with cream inside. And you see, this is, a forlorn looking train station. This is what it looked like, station after station after station. You get to Poland. Here's some of the stuff in Krakow. Krakow. This is the actual Schindler's factory from Schindler's List. This Peter out front, who kind of is a caretaker, and he gave me a tour. Nobody there, just Peter and me. He's got a little office. This is, speaking of offices, this is Oskar Schindler's actual office. For real. The office from which you look out that window, you can see the roof of the factory, the roofs where the people worked. This is called a cloth house in Krakow. And I'm alone now, feeling alone. Sloughing through the snow. I didn't wear the right shoes, so I had to tie plastic bags around my feet so I didn't freeze because it was sloppy, wet snow. Yeah, right. Pretty sad, right? I'm all alone, an idiot, sloughing along with plastic bags on my feet, looking like a bum. This is very historic. It goes back centuries, the cloth house. I think it's really the equivalent of Faneuil Hall. It's been a number of things, but it was a textile place, and they sell stuff there. Little park, sloppy, wet, snow. Bradley J's all alone with no one to phone. And, just, have you ever experienced really heavy travel loneliness? It can be brutal. And that's this lead up of extreme loneliness is important. Well, that's what they call it. I think that's just how you spell alcohol there. Or maybe that's the name of that's not a bad name for a bar, the alcohol. Like the 19th hole, the alcohol. Now, this is now in a neighborhood called Kazimierz, which was a Jewish neighborhood. And when World War II came, it's brutally sad. There's a restaurant. 19 out of 20 residents of this neighborhood were killed by the Nazis. 19 out of 20. 95%. Imagine living in that community being one of the remaining 5%. Everyone else is gone and is dead. Killed. Imagine that. And imagine how a community like that would evolve. Well, this is, decades later in the early 90s. And it had a warm feeling. But, a lot of people, a lot of bars, a lot of towns manufacture a forlornness. Oh, this town and these bars all have melancholy. That's what they have, melancholy. The streets are melancholy. The bars are melancholy. They were then anyway. There's a melancholia there that is unmistakable, and it's just an extremely real place. There's no smiley face world there. At least there wasn't then. There was a vibe of heavy melancholy. This is the same bar. This is not Alchemia yet, though. Alchemia is the magical bar that gave me a moment which it reminds me of all this stuff, but it gave me a moment that caused me to write this song. This is the exterior of Alchemia. It sure don't look like much in the day, but that's what you want. I mean, this place just at night was so magical. It was lit only by candles. Only by candles. As far as I could see. Did they have a light bulb over the cash register? I don't even think so. It was so cool. Dozens and dozens of candles. It was lit by candles. This is Krakow, Poland, a place called Alchemia. It still exists today. At least it's online today. Now, this is the inside. This is not the photo with the magic moment, but you get the vibe, right? It's only candles. And is there some reason you can't do that these days? Probably some damn fire code. I don't know if you're allowed to have any candles. Maybe you're allowed to have only candles. I don't know. See, look, this is the bar. Candles. No light bulbs. The only other light is coming from a primitive. Oh, look at this. The oldness of that computer screen. This is the bar at Alchemia. More candles, more Alchemia, baby. What a place. It's worth getting on a plane. To me, as a matter of fact, I went back to Krakow to go to this place. That's how special it was. Now, this is the magic photo. I don't know. I just was super lonesome, very far away from home. First time being that far away from home, alone. And I still had 2 weeks to go. I am lonesome. And I just saw this moment. There's so many questions here. Like, no, there's actually one. What is their relationship? There are more than one question. There's more than one question. What are they talking about? What was she showing? What are they showing each other? But mostly, what is their relationship? But it doesn't even matter. There's a moment of intimacy here, whether it is father-daughter getting a coffee, or who knows, some other in-between relationship, all the way to some sort of romantic thing. I don't know. But it just, look at the glow. Candles, candles, candles. And are those L&Ms, those cigarettes? Okay, that's the moment that spawned. I'll go back here. That's the moment that spawned the song Alchemia. Alchemia is the name of the bar, and the song is about being alone in a foreign city and wanting somebody to talk to. It would have been so much better if someone had talked to me in the bar, if I'd struck up a conversation. But stupidly back then, and I think stupidly, I was not gregarious. I didn't talk to folks. I didn't think they wanted to talk to some American. So I just shut up. Since then, I've changed and actually make connections before I go. Now, if you go to Krakow, which is only about 60 miles from the Ukrainian border, by the way, I almost went to Lviv back then during this trip, but I didn't because I heard that the border guards would take your passport and make you pay money to get it back. And I guess I was chicken. I regret it now because Lviv or Lvov is supposed to be a lovely town. It used to be anyway, before the current problem. But if you do go to Krakow, it's kind of in the winter anyway, is a must see, and that is a small town called Zakopane. And you take a train, and then you get on a littler train. This is the little train that goes to Zakopane. And this is up in the mountains. And it is so different and romantic. Look, this is not some tourist thing. This is some dude getting around doing his chores. Isn't that something like when you want to go on a trip and you want to feel something different? How's that for different? This is a restaurant that is very, what, I don't know, woodsman-y. I never saw anything like it. It had a kind of a barbecue pit thing, metal barbecue thing, probably 15 to 20 feet long, just barbecue and stuff. Everything was big and chunky, including the furniture, the meat, and it was a magical place. You can see that the quality of the photography is pretty primitive because this is way before the iPhone. This is 15 years before the iPhone. The iPhone was invented in 2007. That's when we got it. So this was 16, 17 years before that. This is also Zakopane. It is straight up cool. And it's the fact that it was snowing gets added to the whole thing. And again, I'm all alone. I haven't talked to anybody. The only person I've talked to is to order a beer and order some food. That's bad. That's on me. That's unhealthy. But I hadn't learned to kind of connect before I went. Is that it? That's kind of it. So there you go. This was pretty successful for me on my end. Stop screen. Is that did it work? Am I back? I can't tell. I hope so. Well, I'll check it out. Yeah. By the way, this is not my house. I really enjoy the virtual backgrounds. People think this is my house, and it's, it's pretty cool, right? All the photos you see are photos I have taken, and I use them as virtual backgrounds. I use a green screen. Just so you know, the keyboard here is real. The background is fake. It's an actual background. This is a bar in Belgrade, Serbia. And I will do a slideshow on that because I have so many photos that don't make it to the videos. And this gives me a chance to be live and tell a story, a travel story. When it comes to travel, look, a lot of people say, oh, boy, if I could just do it. It's a matter of priority, man. If you want to do it, you can do it cheap. You can do it for short period of time. Most of my trips are 6 days max. This first one was 2 weeks, which was way too much for me. But mostly they're 6 days, 6 nights. That's enough. Then I want to get back to my life. So that means that you don't need to spend that much. You can get a deal. If you really want to go and you want a cheap flight, you can get them. And you want a cheap hotel, you can get it. You can do this. I like to go on social media and try to connect with someone before I go now. That has been great for me. I connected in Belgrade with Jovana, who I interviewed and everything, and you'll see her in another slideshow or video. How she took me to this place. This is actually a bar. And it's a place where people that moved away from Belgrade for whatever reason and come back, hang out because they have similar reasons that they moved out. I don't know what the deal is, but there's a crew of people that hang around in this place. I forget the name of it. So there you go. I urge you to go to Bradley J Travel on YouTube and subscribe and comment and click the bell to get notified of new posts. But I really enjoyed this. It gives me a chance to use photos that would never otherwise get seen. So there you go. By the way, Berlin, it's not like it used to be. When they took the wall down, where the wall was, it's just kind of like the equivalent of Boston's Freedom Trail. Last time I was there, it was just kind of bricks and a sidewalk. I think they should have left it up, really, for a number of reasons. But it has got a different vibe, and I do, if my friend Carola sees this, I want to thank you so much for all you did for me on that trip and subsequent trips. It meant so much to me, and Carola, you are awesome. And we'll see you another time, I hope. I've seen her a bunch since, but I like to squeeze in some more trips before it's all over. And once again, YouTube, Bradley J Travel. Subscribe, click the bell to follow, etc. Share this if you would, okay? I'm going to do that. I hope it came out well. I hope it worked out well. I hope you can see the videos all right. That is all. Bye now.